Hello, I'm Trudy, One Grounded Angel. This is the weekly angel card reading for the week beginning June the 12th through to the 18th, 2017. If you haven't seen one of my videos before, what I do is I choose an angel card for each day of the week, which I also post on my social media on the day as well. So if you're not already following me, my Instagram is at One Grounded Angel, and my Facebook page is One Grounded Angel as well. You find that on the day as well, you get a bit more insight as well. Things will have changed for you in your life, even though you're getting a meaning now that will kind of deepen, I would say, over time. The reason I do these weekly videos is because it's easy to see the themes that are emerging for the week and what we need to be be aware of, be at the front of our minds as we go forth into the week. So we'll start with Monday. Before I started recording this, I asked the angels to bless the reading. I cleanse the cards of any old readings I've got from readings I've done for myself or for my clients. And this is what's come through answered prayer. Now, last week on Facebook, I shared a post by Doreen Virtue when she talked about what happens when something you've asked for, something you've been praying for or really wishing for, is not coming true, and how frustrating that can be. She didn't talk about the frustration, but I know personally from my own experience, having spent years and years and years asking for a relationship and not getting it, I know how incredibly frustrating that can be and how you can feel quite let down by the universe. So the post that I shared, she talks about how there are a lot of factors that mean that wish can be delayed. To do with another person's free will. Perhaps you're not fulfilling your end of the bargain. In my case, in that example, not to make it about me, but sometimes I think it's helpful, that example I just gave, it was because I needed to do the work in learning to be a light worker and sharing my gift for the world. If they'd just given me the relationship, I wouldn't have developed my ability in this area any further. Whereas now that I have, I can see this is absolutely what I needed to do, and it would have been distracting. If they'd given me the relationship straight away, it would have gone way off course. So anyway, it's about divine timing sometimes. So this has come through to reassure you, those of you who are feeling like, how come this is not working out for me? How come what I've been asking for is not coming to fruition? It's letting you know it is going to happen. It may not happen overnight, to use a New Zealand commercial, a favourite line from a New Zealand commercial, but it will happen. And for some of you, it is going to happen sooner than you expect, actually. This card comes up to say it's going to happen right now. And sometimes it's just, hey, it's going to happen, but just hang in there. It's all about patience. And, us humans are not so good with patience because we are used to getting what we want on demand. We watch a TV show whenever we want. We don't have to wait for new episodes. We want to find something out, we just Google it. We've got basically computers in our pockets and purses. We're not used to waiting for things, but that's just kind of the deal with the universe. We need to wait. It takes time to learn lessons that we need to learn. Here we go. This situation is already resolved. In regards to a problem you're facing or a challenge, sometimes it's tempting to rush in all guns blazing to try and solve it. They're asking you not to do that, just to wait. We're seeing a theme already, this whole patience thing. So they're letting you know it is being worked on. It is going to work out. Don't try and solve it yourself. Again, it's that control issue. We're so used to controlling things. And, in the relationship realm particularly, that's a real struggle. We're used to controlling so much. We apply for jobs we buy tickets to places we want to go. Relationships you can't manufacture. You have to wait for them. You have to wait for the right person. Yes, of course, you need to be out there and, being active in terms of trying to meet people, but you actually can't force things to happen. You can't make connections where there isn't a connection, I should say. So you need to know here, this is going to be resolved, but it's not going to be on your watch necessarily. So essentially, they just want you to let go of trying to force it and trying to control it. So now, before I've even started shuffling for Wednesday, this card slipped off, and I am being told that's significant. So it's a card about creativity, and it's a card about pursuing what you love to do. So it's about doing what you love, and looking to others for support with what you're trying to get off the ground. This is going to be very welcome for those of you who are who are self-employed, starting your own businesses. We've got some sort of side hustle going on, or are trying to integrate more of their things they're passionate about into their existing role. This is very encouraging for you. It's telling you to go for it and to keep that it's right for you to pursue what you want to do. Now, I know I've talked about this before, but I really get angry when people say, if you do what you love, everything else will follow, because it's not actually possible every time for every single person to just do what they love and to get paid for it, you know. And there's that great meme that goes around about how, so I ate a bunch of pizzas, drank some wine, watched Netflix, now I'm sleeping all day, just waiting for the money to follow. I've totally quoted that wrong, of course. It's said much more sassy on Instagram, but you get the point. So it's really saying that how ridiculous it is that we have this notion if we just do what we love, that's totally acceptable. It's not always. Sometimes we do have to do even part-time jobs that we don't love, or we have, even if we're doing something we're hugely passionate about, there's always going to be drudgery in there and frustration. So try to be patient with those if that's happening for you, and try to understand that, you know, yes, it is about doing what you love, but being aware that there needs to be some groundedness coming through there and some sort of reality happening with that. So see if you can try and get that back into balance, so that you are doing what you love, but you're accepting of the elements that you don't love that are coming through, and you're not getting frustrated that you've been sold a dream it's not happening, which I think sometimes is you know, we are being sold this dream. It's not necessarily a reality for everybody. Those of you who are doing a job that you absolutely hate, though, there is a message here for you to try and do something about that. You're not here to be miserable for your whole life. There's no way you'd be sent to Earth, to this Earth school, as it's called, to have this beautiful experience and just for your life to be completely miserable. That's not how it's supposed to work. So you either get going on something in your evenings and your free time that you're really passionate about, or you look to change your job, or you try to bring in elements that you love, or you go part-time and do something else on the side. Whatever it is, you know, trust your intuition. You know what's going to be right for you. Now, Thursday, I'm doing a terrible job shuffling already. Nothing new there. You know, the really reassuring thing is that I can never get the cards wrong. I'm still obviously careful to make sure that I go through the correct procedures, but ultimately what they choose is right. So by the way, pushing that one out. By the way, if you see a card and you think, I don't really get it, it's not really resonating for me, you've got two choices. You can either sit with it and wait, something else might come from it down the line, or you can trust your intuition because there may be a hidden message that I haven't explained that's going to resonate to you. So always listen to your gut instinct on what these messages mean for you. And the other thing is sometimes the message isn't for you, it's for someone else in your life. So be aware of that too. Even if you don't know what to get out of these messages or what's right for you, I think the knowledge that you're being looked after and that the universe is here to help you is incredibly reassuring. So if all you take away from this is a feeling of reassurance, that's enough. That means I've done what I'm here to do. So Thursday is about endings. So coming upon at the end of a cycle, and they really want to reassure you that what's ahead is going to be better than what you've left behind. So grieve if you've lost things, but try to understand that you're not going to be in that sense of loss is not the end of the story for you. There's more ahead, more good things, I should say, not more grief. Although a degree of grief is sometimes part of life. We need to lose things in order to gain new things. So ask the angels to support you as you go through changes. If you are perfectly happy with everything that's going on in your life and you don't need anything to end, maybe look for small level endings, things that need to come to a close that aren't big things like jobs or relationships or moving cities. Smaller level things like maybe you need to sever some attachments to some of your possessions. Maybe you need to do a decluttering. Maybe you need to change a particular habit about your life, quitting smoking. Maybe you need to quit your habit of avoiding situations or whatever it is. It's about bringing something to a close that's not working for you anymore and trying something new that's going to usher in blessings and wonderful opportunities. Friday what's that? The 16th. I've just dropped the cards. Keep going. With that, oh, no, we won't. They don't want me to use those cards, clearly. Here we go. Friday, this feels right. Sometimes it takes me a while to get the point they're telling me, that's not the right deck for today. Notice the signs. This is always welcome. I get so many queries asking me about signs. How do I know if this is a real sign? And how do I ask for signs? Now, I have written blog posts about this. It's easy to find on my website is www.onegroundedangel.com. Down, if you are using your PC or your Mac, it'll be easy to find. It's down the right hand side. There's a bunch of like those words that you can click on, look for the word signs, or if you just scroll down, I believe it was during May I wrote it. It was well received, so it definitely resonates with people. So signs are the way the universe speaks to us, or one way that the universe speaks to us. Now, the way I use signs is asking for confirmation that the messages I've received are accurate. So if you're not sure about the messages you're getting, say, "Dear universe, I think I'm supposed to leave this job. Can you please give me a sign that that's the right thing to do?" So there are a bunch of typical signs they use, things like leaving feathers in unexpected places. Unusual cloud shapes. Sometimes people actually do see angels in the clouds. That's pretty cool. Music, songs and lyrics. What else? Finding coins, not in your purse or wallet, but in unexpected places. Rainbows as well, although that's a tricky one I find, because rainbows, if it's been raining and suddenly you see a rainbow, I mean, that's kind of just the way nature works. So you do have to, it needs to be a way that it's drawn to your attention in an unusual way. Now, sometimes people contact me and say, "I've seen a sign, I didn't ask for it, I don't know what it means, can you help?" The answer to that is they're just letting you know that they're there. So sometimes they just leave signs to say hello, to reassure you, to provide comfort. Sometimes they leave it to say, "Hey, we're here, can you please ask us for the help that you obviously need and are trying to struggle with on your own," because they can't help us unless we ask for help. That goes for whatever you're talking to God, to angels, to spirit, to loved ones, whoever it is that you believe in. They can't help you unless you ask them for help, because you have free will. You make your own choices. You create your own future. The power is yours. So if you want something else to come in and help you, you need to ask for it. So that's Friday. So be extra alert to the signs on Friday and around that. But, I think it's a good rule of thumb for all the time, really. So we're trying this deck again for Saturday. Oh, gosh, not so sure about this. Oh, here we go. Now, activist. The word activist tends to make people go, "Oh, I don't know," because it invokes these images of like a protest leader or something really political, and they go, "Oh, no, it's not me." So that's not necessarily what this is. I like to use the word advocate. Being an advocate for the people in your life who need you to stand up for them, or being an advocate for yourself. This goes out to the doormats who are struggling with getting ahead, because they're letting other people push them around, and other people determine the course of their life. You must be an advocate for yourself. You must set boundaries against bad behavior. You must not let people push you into things that you do not want to do, that are not right for you. You must not be afraid, and this is easier said than done, I know, but you must not be afraid to do something that does not follow the path that everybody else is leading. You must not be afraid to go your own way, and this is a message that comes up again and again. Now, for some of you, this is a message to be an advocate for someone in your life. Parents, maybe you have a child who needs extra help. Trust your intuition on this. It's not every parent. This is not going to relate to every parent, but for some of you, you have a child who needs extra help, or you have someone else in your life, perhaps a parent who needs you to stand up for them. They're not being treated fairly by other people, or a relative. You know, the list goes on. It's really up to you to determine what this message means for you. But ultimately, it's saying that you need to be an advocate and to stand up for either yourself or someone else. And you can do that in peaceful ways. It's not about confrontation or causing trouble. It's never about causing trouble for the sake of it. It's the difference between being assertive and being aggressive. We are not fans of aggression. We're fans of being assertive, setting your boundaries in healthy ways, and still being kind, because you're being unkind to yourself if you're letting other people push you around. You may think it's being kind to them by letting them get what they want and to feel powerful or whatever it is they feel, but that's not the case. You're being unkind, and you're sort of also enabling their bad behaviour. So it's not necessarily your issue to help people behave in ways that are fair and true, but it is absolutely your responsibility to make sure that that doesn't have an impact on you. So stand up for yourself. Now, that can be a slow process as well, I know. Be patient with that process again. So here we have Sunday, the 18th. What's that? Sacral chakra. Oh, we had this about 2 weeks ago. It's this chakra or chakra, however you want to pronounce it. I tend to use both because I'm just someone who struggles with pronunciation of certain words anyway. But they're energy fields, energy centers in our energy field outside our body. The energy field is sometimes referred to as an aura. Some people are more comfortable with that term. The sacral one is second from the bottom. There are 7 main ones. It's the second one, and it is about creativity, sexuality, emotions. Now, because we've had such strong planetary forces coming through lately, I would say that the emotions is probably going to be the concern for most of you. You feel your emotions you're either really fraught, really frayed, or you just are really struggling to express any emotion whatsoever. So this is an opportunity for you to ask the universe to help balance your emotions. And I would call on maybe Archangel Jophiel, who's associated with beauty. Ask her to beautify your emotions. Now, please remember, it is totally normal to be any of the emotions that we call negative. There's this whole movement geared towards finding happiness and finding your joy and staying that way. It is not possible to be happy and filled with joy all the time. It's not. Those are just small emotions on the spectrum of normal human emotions that we all feel at different times of the day or year or whatever, and they're all perfectly normal. There is nothing wrong with being sad, with being upset, with being disappointed, with being frustrated, with being angry. Those are all normal. What you want to do is make sure you don't stay in negative emotions for a very long time, because when you do, that will affect your thought process. You'll become negative. When you stay in negative thought cycles, you attract negative experiences. And I'm not saying that negative experiences are always caused by negative thoughts. They're not. Sometimes, I don't know why things happen. Sometimes shitty things just happen to people. However, you must remember that staying in a negative frame of mind is a contributor. So you want to make sure that you're not causing yourself harm by negative thoughts. I've gone off track. So that's emotions. And also for some of you, they're saying you need to just be patient with the emotions you've got and just go, okay, I'm in a bad mood. I'm just going to be okay with that today. I'm going to be careful not to, take it out on too many people, but I'm also not going to, say, oh, I'm in a bad mood. Oh, everything sucks, and then start creating more negative emotions in that sense. What else do I need to talk to you about? So creativity, if you are yearning to express yourself creatively, please do that. Everybody is creative. Please do not tell me that you are not creative. You are. Everybody is. The whole journey of going through this world is a creative one. We're making it up as we go along. Our society may tell us there are rules. There are no rules, except for obviously the universal law of treating people as you want to be treated, or else karma will kick your ass. So, what else do I need to tell you about this? Oh, the sexuality thing. I covered that quite a lot 2 weeks ago. If you're not sure, look up my reading for that week. It was the one, there were a lot of messages that week around romance and sexuality came into the fore with this card here. So people who have sexual imbalances are people who struggle to express their sexuality. They feel like it's a sin, or they have a lot of guilt around that. Or it might be that some of you are not using your sexual energy responsibly because you're cheating on someone instead of trying to work on the relationship that you have with your partner, or perhaps you're hiding away your sexual fantasies instead of talking to your partner about them, or perhaps it could be that you what else can come through in this? I hate talking about this because it is a really difficult thing, but people who have a history of sexual abuse or any sort of sexual trauma in their background, this comes through for you and suggests that you try and get some healing around that, some energy healing. It's not a wound, depending on the severity of what happened, or what your attachment is to that. It's not something that will ever go away overnight. So, but you may find some relief through energy healing such as Reiki or kinesiology or any sort of cord cutting. Oh, actually not cord cutting, it's not good. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. But any sort of energy healing might be helpful for you around the sacral chakra, or even just getting some counselling. It's time for you to address that because it is tripping you up. If this is resonating with you, it is something that you need to address. And I know it feels like something that you're never going to get away from, but there are ways to kind of work towards making peace with that, and that process is something that's going to be really helpful to you. Sorry, I'm just tuning in. I know I apologise for that. Yes, they're saying for most of you, this isn't about having energy healing or anything like that around that chakra, unless you have been getting messages about this already. For most of you, it's just a need to address one of those three streams where you feel like you're struggling: the emotions, the creativity, or the sexual expression. Now, with the creativity, it may be that you have not been feeling like you need to do any sort of creative activity, but try to think of creativity as a potential solution to whatever you're going through. If you feel like there's not enough balance in your life, nobody has balance in their life first and foremost, but if you feel like you're just your life is too routine, too mundane, you're feeling stagnant, getting some creative pursuits going on in your life is a really good solution as a way of helping that process, because you need to, because when we're creative, it helps so many levels of our life. It helps us tune into the universe better because the creative flow is an intuitive one. It also helps us be more present and more mindful. It cures it's not the right word, but it helps alleviate some nervous system issues and stress because it's relaxing. And it also just helps you feel a bit more alive. Your life is not supposed to be routine and boring, okay? So I think I've probably spent enough time on that. So when I look at the week, we've got a real mixed bag. So those messages about being patient and surrendering to the process have come through quite strongly, especially around here when we're trying to force solutions or we're getting impatient with a lack of obvious solutions. Bear in mind that there is a solution going on, you just can't see it yet. So we've also got this this message about going with our passions, and you can see a relationship there with this message here about creativity, endings. I can't help but feel for some of you this is relevant in terms of your need to pull to an end, some way of living that's not working for you, and perhaps it is getting more passion and more creativity into your life that's going to work with that. With the sacral chakra, I know I'm out of order, I'm jumping around, nothing unusual there. It's often called the pleasure chakra because it's associated with, obviously sexual pleasure, but also the pleasure that comes from indulging our passions and creativity. And, pleasure is an emotion as well. We feel pleasure, and could be maybe that's what's going on in your emotions. Maybe you are shitty or stressed or feeling frazzled because you aren't giving yourself enough pleasure. And that can mean whatever you want it to mean, because the word pleasure can be a bit loaded for certain people. So I'll just park that and let you dwell on that yourself. And also some great practical message here about noticing the signs. And I think that's going to help those of you who are struggling with this solution, the search for solutions. Being an advocate for yourself. And, you know, I mean, that's so relevant. You stand up for yourself when you say, I am actually going to take that flax weaving or that macrame course I've been wanting to do. I am actually going to go and learn to paint. Bear in mind as well, courses are great, but they don't really want you to focus on the outcome, on the learning of on the creation of something. I'm saying that wrong. They don't want you to focus on the product or the result of what you create. They want you to focus on the process. Whether you're good or not good, whatever that means, is completely irrelevant. It's about the process and what you will learn and gain from engaging in that process. Hopefully that makes sense. Thank you so much for your time and attention and love and support this week, and always. It means so much to me. I wouldn't do this without it. I will post these on my social media. You can contact me for a personal reading on my website, www.onegroundedangel.com. If you want to know more about the sacral chakra, you can also find that out on my blog. If you go into the Reiki section, it's got at the bottom a list of chakras, and you'll find my article about the sacral chakra here. And I know when I posted this last time, when it came up 2 weeks ago, it got a lot of hits, so a lot of you clearly were interested enough to look that up. That's it. Take care of yourselves and each other. I'll read for you again next week. Goodbye.